I never thought I'd spend Christmas Day helping my granddaughter escape from a man everyone thought was perfect. It started so innocently. Sophie arrived at my house just after noon, her boyfriend Marcus right behind her carrying an expensive bottle of wine and a designer gift bag. The December sun streamed through my kitchen windows, catching the diamond studs in her ears, a gift from him, she'd told me proudly last month. She looked radiant in a cream sweater and dark jeans, her blonde hair falling in soft waves around her shoulders. "Grandma!" She wrapped me in a hug that smelled like vanilla and winter air. "Merry Christmas!" Marcus extended his hand with that confident smile of his. "Mrs. Patterson, thank you for having us. Please, call me Ellen," I said, shaking his hand. His grip was firm, professional. Everything about Marcus screamed success: the tailored coat, the Swiss watch, the easy way he moved through the world like he owned it. At 34, he'd already made partner at his consulting firm. My daughter Sarah and her husband Tom couldn't stop talking about how lucky Sophie was to have found someone so stable, so ambitious. "Something smells amazing," Sophie said, peering into the oven where the ham was glazing. "Your grandmother's famous recipe," I said. "I started at 6 this morning." Marcus set his gifts under my tree with practiced precision, each one perfectly wrapped. "Sophie wanted to help," he said with a laugh, "but I told her I'd handle the shopping this year. You know how she is with budgets." Something flickered across Sophie's face so quick I almost missed it, but she smiled and nodded. "Marcus is so much better at that stuff than me." My son David arrived with his wife and kids, and soon my small house was full of laughter and wrapping paper and the chaos of family. Marcus seemed to fit right in, discussing investments with Tom, playing with my great-grandchildren, refilling wine glasses. I watched Sophie watching him, something tender and anxious in her eyes. We sat down to dinner at 3. I'd set the table with my good china, the pieces that survived 43 years of family dinners. 20 years since my husband passed, and I still set a place for 13 out of habit before remembering we were only 12 now. "This is incredible, Grandma," Sophie said, serving herself sweet potatoes. She reached for the ham, then paused. "Marcus, did you want dark meat or light?" "Whatever you're having is fine, babe," he said easily. She served him, then herself. Little things like that, I'd noticed them before but never really thought about it, the way she checked with him, the way she anticipated his needs. David was telling a story about his youngest, trying to stay awake to catch Santa when Sophie's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and I saw her expression change. Not fear, exactly, more like obligation. "Excuse me," she murmured, starting to stand. "Everything okay?" Marcus asked. His voice was pleasant, but his eyes weren't. "Just my friend Emma texting about New Year's plans. I'll call her later." "Why don't you just text her back now?" he suggested. "You know how she worries if you don't respond right away." Sophie sat back down and typed something quickly. I noticed her hands were shaking slightly. After dinner, the men migrated to the living room to watch football. Sarah and I were clearing plates when Sophie came into the kitchen. "Let me help," she said, taking the serving bowl from my hands. "Your mother has it covered," I said. "Why don't you go relax?" "I like being useful," she said quietly. We worked in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Sophie said, "Grandma, can I ask you something?" "Of course, sweetheart." Did he ever get upset about money? Like, how you spent it?" I paused, dish towel in hand. My Harold had his faults, but controlling wasn't one of them. "No, honey." "Why do you ask?" She bit her lip. "Marcus he's so good with finances. Way better than me. And he says it's easier if he handles everything. That way I don't have to stress about it." "Everything?" Sarah chimed in. "That's so nice of him, Sophie." Tom and I split the bills, but honestly, if he wanted to take over the budgeting, I'd let him in a heartbeat. Sophie smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Yeah, it's nice." I studied her face. 26 years old, a marketing manager at a good firm, smart as a whip, and she was talking about money like she was a child being given an allowance. Later, after dessert, I was in the hallway heading to the bathroom when I heard Marcus's voice from the guest room. The door was slightly ajar. "I can see the transaction, Sophie. $247 at Nordstrom last week. What did I tell you about big purchases?" I needed a dress for the company party. Her voice was small. "You have dresses. We talked about this. And you put it on the card without asking me first." "I'm sorry," I thought. "That's the problem. You don't think about how your spending affects our future. Our goals. Do you know how much we need to save for the down payment?" "I know, I'm sorry. I'll return it." "No, it's fine, it's done, but next time you ask me first, okay?" A pause. Then, "Okay, good. Now let's go back out there. And Sophie? Smile. Your grandmother doesn't need to know we're having money problems because of your shopping." I pressed myself against the wall, my heart pounding. Money problems? Sophie made a good salary. And shopping? The girl wore the same coat she'd bought 5 years ago. When they emerged, Marcus's arm was around her waist, protective and possessive all at once. He caught my eye and smiled warmly. "Ellen, that pie was magnificent. My mother would be jealous." I managed to smile back. "I'm glad you enjoyed it." The rest of the evening passed in a blur. I laughed at the right times, admired the gifts, hugged everyone goodbye. But I couldn't stop thinking about that conversation, about the way Sophie had apologized, about asking permission. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing Sophie's face when she'd asked about Harold and money. The way she'd phrased it, did Grandpa ever get upset about money? Like she thought it was normal for a partner to control finances. I'd been a secretary for 30 years before I retired. I'd seen my share of controlling men in the office, back when women needed their husband's signature to get a credit card. I thought we'd moved past that. But sitting in my bedroom at 2 in the morning, I realized that control doesn't always look like the obvious abuse of the 50s. Sometimes it wears a designer suit and talks about our goals. I needed to know more. The next morning, I called Sophie. "Hey, Grandma!" She sounded surprised. "Everything okay?" "Everything's fine, dear. I was just thinking, do you want to have lunch this week? Just us girls? It's been too long since we had a proper catch-up." There was a pause. "Let me check with Marcus about his schedule." "Oh, he's invited too if he wants to come," I lied smoothly. "I just thought maybe you'd enjoy some girl talk, but whatever works." No, lunch sounds great. How about Thursday?" "Perfect." Thursday, I met her at a little cafe near her office. She arrived exactly on time, looking polished and professional in her work clothes. "Order whatever you want," I said, handing her the menu. "My treat." She studied the menu carefully. "I'll just have a salad." "The burgers here are amazing," I pressed gently. "Salad is fine. I'm trying to be good." The waitress came. Sophie ordered a house salad with dressing on the side. I ordered the French dip and sweet potato fries. "So how's work?" I asked when we were alone. Her face lit up the first genuine spark I'd seen in days. "Really good, actually. I pitched this campaign for our new client, and they loved it. My boss said I might be up for a promotion in the spring." "That's wonderful. You've worked so hard." "Yeah, I'm excited. The only thing is..." She trailed off. "What?" "The promotion would mean more money, which is great. But Marcus thinks I should ask for a specific amount, and I'm worried it's too much. He says I always undersell myself, but I don't want to seem greedy." I set down my water glass carefully. "Sophie, honey, what does Marcus do with your paychecks?" "What do you mean?" "Your salary. Does it go into your own account?" "Oh." "No, we have a joint account. It's easier that way. He handles all the bills and investments and everything. I don't really have to think about it. Do you have access to that account?" She blinked. "Well, yes. I mean, I have the app on my phone. I can check it whenever I want." "Can you withdraw money?" I guess I haven't tried. Marcus usually handles that. If I need cash, I just ask him." My stomach turned. "What about a credit card? In your name?" "We have the joint card. Marcus has the number memorized, so if I want to buy something, I just text him and he orders it. It's actually really convenient because I'm so busy at work." I took a deep breath, choosing my words carefully. "What if you wanted to buy yourself something? Like that dress for your work party?" Her cheeks flushed. Did he tell you about that?" "I overheard, honey. At Christmas." She looked down at her salad, moving lettuce around with her fork. "I shouldn't have bought it without checking first. We're saving for a house, and I need to be more mindful." "Sophie," I waited until she looked at me. "You make your own money. You shouldn't need permission to buy a work dress. It's not permission, she said quickly. It's just communication. He's better at managing money than me. I used to be so impulsive. You know, I'd buy coffee every day, go out with friends, waste money on stupid stuff. Marcus helped me see that I needed to be more responsible. Do you go out with friends anymore? She paused. Not as much, but we're so busy, and honestly, going out is expensive. Marcus and I have Netflix, and when's the last time you bought yourself something? Anything. Coffee, a magazine, whatever you wanted, without asking him first? Her eyes filled with tears. Grandma, why are you asking me all this? Because I'm worried about you, sweetheart. Well, don't be. Marcus loves me. He takes care of me. He's practical. He grew up poor, and he doesn't want us to struggle like his parents did. That's not a bad thing. No, it's not. Being financially responsible isn't a bad thing. But Sophie, I reached across the table for her hand. Do you know how much money is in that joint account? Marcus sends me a summary every month. Can you log in right now and check? I don't remember the password. Marcus changes it for security. Can you transfer money, pay a bill, access the funds you earn? She pulled her hand back. You're making it sound creepy, and it's not. He's protecting us. From what? From me making mistakes! The words burst out of her, and she immediately looked around the cafe, embarrassed. More quietly. I'm not good with money, Grandma. I never have been. Remember when I was in college and I overdrafted my account twice? Mom and Dad had to bail me out. Marcus is just making sure that doesn't happen again. You were 19. You're 26 now. And I haven't overdrafted once since I met him. Because you don't have access to the account. We sat in silence. She wouldn't look at me. I recognized that stubbornness. It was mine, passed down through genetics and generations. Finally, I said, your grandfather and I had separate accounts our whole marriage. She looked up, surprised. We also had a joint one for household expenses, but I always had my own money, my own account that was just mine. When he died, I had immediate access to everything I needed. I didn't have to ask anyone for permission to pay for his funeral, or to keep my house, or to live my life. Do you understand what I'm saying? Times were different then. Were they? Or have we just gotten better at hiding control behind words like communication and protection? She stood up abruptly. I need to get back to work. Sophie, thank you for lunch, Grandma. I'll pay you back for mine. You don't need to. But she was already opening her wallet, pulling out a $20 bill. Her hands shook as she set it on the table. I can pay for my own lunch. She left. I sat there with my half-eaten sandwich and her untouched salad, my heart breaking. That night, she called me. Grandma? Her voice was thick, like she'd been crying. I tried to log into the account. I wanted to prove you wrong, that I could access it whenever I wanted. I waited. The password he gave me doesn't work. I've tried every variation I can think of. I texted him to ask what it was, and he called me immediately, asking why I needed to check. When I said I just wanted to look, he got, I don't know. Not angry. Exactly. Disappointed, like I didn't trust him. He's coming home early tomorrow so we can talk about this. Sophie. He transferred $5,000 to my old checking account, the one I never use. He said this proves he trusts me, that I can have my own account if I want. But Grandma, her voice cracked. I looked at my old account for the first time in 2 years. Every month, my paycheck has been going into the joint account for 2 years. And I never even checked. I make $70,000 a year, and I don't know where any of it goes. I gripped the phone tighter. Where are you right now? At work. In my car in the parking lot. Can you come here? He'll know. He can see my location on his phone. We share locations, for safety. Then turn it off. That will make him suspicious. Good. Sophie, listen to me. You have $5,000 in your account right now. Can you pull up a bank near you on your phone? Yes? I want you to go inside and open a savings account, a new one, at a different bank than the one you share with Marcus. Don't link it to anything. Don't put the app on your phone. Old school paper statements. Sent to my address. Can you do that? Why? Because you need to have something that's just yours. Money he doesn't know about, just in case. In case of what? Grandma, you're scaring me. Good. You should be scared. Sophie, I've lived 68 years on this earth. I've seen a lot of things, and I'm telling you, this isn't right. The way he controls your money, the way you can't even check your own account, that's not love, honey. That's control. But he said, I know what he said. I'm sure he has very good reasons for everything. Controlling people always do. But answer me this. If you wanted to leave him tomorrow, could you? Silence. Could you afford first and last month's rent somewhere? Could you buy groceries? Could you pay for gas to get to work? Could you do any of those things without asking him for money? Her voice was barely a whisper. No. Then you're not in a relationship, sweetheart. You're in a cage. She was crying now, soft sobs that made my chest ache. What do I do? First, you open that account. Put in $3,000. Keep $2 in the old account so it doesn't look suspicious if he checks. Can you do that today? Yes. Second, from now on, you find ways to build that account. Small amounts he won't notice. If he gives you cash, save it. If someone gives you a gift card, sell it for cash. Every dollar you can hide away, you hide. This feels wrong. Like I'm planning to leave him. You're not planning to leave him. You're planning to have a choice. There's a difference. She was quiet for a long time. Then, okay, I'll open the account today. But Grandma, what if you're wrong? What if I'm just overreacting and Marcus really does have our best interests at heart? Then in 5 years, you'll have a nice little savings account you can surprise him with. But Sophie, I've been wrong about a lot of things in my life. I don't think I'm wrong about this. Over the next month, Sophie and I met for lunch every Thursday. She'd park at a shopping center and take an Uber to restaurants, telling Marcus she was meeting a college friend. The lies came easier than she expected, which worried both of us. The account grew slowly. 200 here, 50 there. Her Christmas bonus, which Marcus said should go toward the house down payment, she deposited half and told him the bonus was smaller than expected. Gift cards from clients. The $20 her dad gave her just because. I have $2,400, she told me in mid-January. It feels like stealing. It's your money. But it feels like lying. It is lying. But Sophie, you know what else is lying? Him changing the password to your joint account. Him telling you you're bad with money when you've been responsible for years. Him making you think you need his permission to spend your own salary. She twisted her napkin in her hands. I looked up financial abuse last night. Did you know that's a thing? Like an actual form of domestic abuse? I did. There was a checklist. I met 14 out of 15 criteria. She laughed, but it was hollow. The only one I didn't meet was partner sabotages your work or career. But that's only because my work is too visible. He can't really interfere without it being obvious. Has he tried? She looked out the window. He suggested I turn down the promotion. Said the stress wouldn't be worth the extra money, and we didn't really need it anyway since he was up for partner. I could focus more on wedding planning if I wasn't working such long hours. Are you engaged? Not officially. But he's been looking at rings. He showed me pictures last week and asked which one I liked. Which one did you like? The cheapest one. Because I felt guilty that he was spending so much on me when I can't even manage my own money properly. Sophie. No, I know. I know that's the programming talking. He's made me believe I'm incompetent. I get it intellectually. But God, Grandma, emotionally, I still feel like I'm the problem. Like I'm ungrateful and suspicious. And her voice broke. I moved to her side of the booth and put my arms around her while she cried. She felt so small. This strong, capable woman reduced to doubting everything about herself. I don't know how to leave, she whispered into my shoulder. We live in his condo. My name isn't on the lease. He pays for everything. Where would I even go? You could come stay with me. He knows where you live. Then we'll figure something else out. Sophie, you have options. Maybe you can't see them all yet, but they exist. You're building your escape fund. You're starting to recognize the problem. That's progress. She pulled back, wiping her eyes. I'm so tired of being scared. I know, honey. And the worst part? Sometimes I think maybe I should just accept it. Maybe this is as good as it gets. He doesn't hit me. He buys me nice things. He tells me he loves me every day. Maybe I'm making a huge deal out of nothing. Do you believe that? She met my eyes. No. Then trust yourself. By February, she had $4,000. She'd also started documenting everything, screenshots of messages where he questioned her spending, emails about the account, texts where he tracked her location. She kept it all in a folder on a thumb drive hidden in a tampon box. He'd never look there, she said with a grim smile. She'd also started seeing a therapist. Marcus didn't know. She paid cash from her secret account and scheduled appointments during her lunch hour. Dr. Morrison says I have all the signs of financial abuse, she reported. She also says I'm probably experiencing coercive control and emotional manipulation. She wants me to consider couples therapy, but I told her he'd never agree. He doesn't think there's a problem. What do you think? I think I need to get out. I just don't know how to do it without him destroying me financially. He could claim I owe him for 2 years of rent, utilities, everything. He has records of all of it. My name might not be on the lease, but he could argue I was responsible for half. Have you talked to a lawyer? With what money? The consultation alone is $400. I pulled out my checkbook. Grandma. No. Yes. This is what grandmothers are for, getting their granddaughters the hell out of bad situations. She took the check with shaking hands. I'll pay you back. I know you will. But right now, I need you to use this money to protect yourself. The lawyer was a middle-aged woman named Patricia Chen who specialized in family law. Sophie met with her on a Friday afternoon, telling Marcus she had a work happy hour. That night, she called me from her car outside a grocery store at 9 p.m. He can't touch me legally, she said, her voice strange. Miss Chen said because my name isn't on the lease, I have no financial obligation to him for rent. And the joint account, all the money I put in is still legally mine. He can't claim I owe him for taking care of me because I was paying my share the whole time. I just wasn't controlling how it was spent. That's good news. The bad news is that if I leave, he could theoretically drain the account before I can access it, so I need to withdraw my half the same day I leave. Miss Chen said I should calculate exactly what I've contributed, have bank statements ready, and go to the bank in person. She also said, Sophie's voice got very small. She said I should probably file for a restraining order. Do you think you need one? He's never hit me, never even raised his hand. But I'm afraid of what he'll do when I leave. He's going to be so angry. He's going to tell everyone I'm crazy, that I betrayed him, that I'm stealing from him. And Grandma, they'll probably believe him. He's so good at seeming reasonable. Let them believe what they want. You'll know the truth. Will that be enough? I thought about all the years I'd spent caring what people thought, all the times I'd stayed quiet to keep the peace, all the moments I'd swallowed my truth to maintain someone else's comfort. It'll have to be, I said. She left him on March 15th. She'd planned it for weeks, picked a Saturday when he had a golf tournament, arranged for movers, secured an apartment in a complex that didn't run tenant screening through his company's connections, and enlisted her friend Emma to help. I met her at the condo at 8 a.m. Marcus had left at 7. We had 4 hours. Sophie moved through the space like a ghost, touching things with reverence, the couch they'd picked out together, the kitchen where they'd cooked Sunday dinners, the bedroom where she'd slept beside him for 2 years. I loved him, she said, standing in the middle of the living room. I still do, I think. That's the worst part. None of this would hurt so much if I didn't love him. I know, sweetheart. He's going to call me crazy, paranoid, ungrateful. Probably. And part of me will believe him. Maybe. For a while. But then you'll remember what it feels like to buy yourself coffee without asking permission. You'll remember what it feels like to check your bank account and see your own money. You'll remember what it feels like to be free. The movers arrived at 9. They were professional and fast. By 11, Sophie's belongings, the things that were indisputably hers, were loaded into the truck. At 11:30, we walked into the bank. Sophie had her account statements, her calculations, her lawyer's letter. The branch manager, a woman with kind eyes who seemed to understand exactly what was happening, helped Sophie withdraw $67,000, her half of the joint account. Marcus called at 12:14 p.m. while we were driving to Sophie's new apartment. She didn't answer. He called again. And again. By the time we reached her new place, she had 17 missed calls. She listened to his voicemails on speaker so I could hear. They started confused. then concerned, then angry, then pleading. The final one, left at 1:03 p.m. Sophie, please, whatever I did, we can fix this. You can't just leave. We're a team. I've given you everything. How can you do this to me? Call me back. Please. Baby, I love you. She deleted them all. The apartment was small, a one-bedroom in an older building with thin walls and carpet that had seen better days. But it was hers. The lease was in her name. The utilities were in her name. She'd opened new bank accounts at a different bank, changed her phone number, blocked Marcus on everything. I'm scared, she admitted as we unpacked boxes that evening. Not of him, exactly. Just of being alone. Of having to figure everything out myself. You won't be alone. You have me. You have Emma. You have your therapist. What if he's right? What if I can't handle money, and I end up broke and then you'll figure it out. You're 26 years old with a good job and a working brain. You'll make mistakes, sure, but they'll be your mistakes, not his. She nodded, blinking back tears. Thank you, Grandma, for believing me, for helping me, for not thinking I was crazy. Oh, honey, I pulled her into a hug. You were never crazy, just trapped. There's a difference. 3 months later, Sophie got the promotion. She bought herself a celebratory dinner, a fancy steak, and a bottle of wine without asking anyone's permission. She sent me a picture. Her smiling face, the empty plate, the receipt showing she'd left a generous tip. The text said, "Feels good to waste my own money." I laughed until I cried. Marcus tried to contact her a few more times through mutual friends, through a fake Instagram account, once by showing up at her office building, which resulted in a trespassing warning. Eventually, he gave up, or found someone new to control. Sophie didn't ask. She goes to therapy every week. She's learning to trust her own judgment again, to recognize red flags, to believe that wanting basic autonomy doesn't make her selfish or difficult or crazy. Last month, she paid me back the $400 for the lawyer consultation. I tried to refuse, but she insisted. "I need to know I can take care of my own debts," she said. "That's part of this. Being responsible for myself." I framed the check instead of cashing it. A reminder that sometimes the best thing you can do for someone you love is help them remember their own strength. I still think about that Christmas dinner sometimes. How happy everyone seemed, how perfect Marcus appeared, how easy it would have been to say nothing, to mind my own business, to trust that my smart, capable granddaughter knew what she was doing. But I've learned something in my 68 years. Sometimes love means speaking up, even when it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it means trusting that you see something others miss. Sometimes it means being willing to be wrong and being glad when you're not. Sophie is building a life now, her life, with her money, her choices, her mistakes, and triumphs. She's dating someone new, a teacher who thinks it's weird that she keeps separate accounts and seems delighted rather than threatened when she picks up the dinner check. He asked me if I was okay with him paying sometimes too, she told me last week, laughing. Like, actually asked. Didn't assume. Didn't take my wallet. Just asked. Imagine that, I said. Right? Basic respect. Who knew that was an option? We both smiled, but there was sadness in it too. Sadness for the time she lost, the confidence that was stolen, the years she spent believing she needed to be controlled. But she's free now. And watching her rediscover herself, watching her make impulsive purchases and budget responsibly, and sometimes splurge, and sometimes save, and sometimes make mistakes, and always be accountable, only to herself, is the greatest gift I've ever received. Last night she called to tell me she's taking a trip to Paris in the fall. Solo. She's been saving for months. Marcus used to say international travel was a waste of money until we owned a house, she said. But I'm 27 years old and I've never been anywhere, so I'm going. I'm just going. That's wonderful, honey. I'm terrified. That means you're doing it right. After we hung up, I sat in my quiet house and thought about all the women who don't get out, who never recognize the cage, who spend their whole lives asking permission to exist. I thought about my granddaughter, who came so close to being one of them. And I said a prayer of gratitude to whatever force in the universe made me pay attention, that Christmas Day made me ask the right questions, made me refuse to look away, because Sophie is free now. Not because I saved her, she saved herself. I just reminded her that she could.